Remember the days of browsing IGN or GameSpot for the latest in video game news? Or maybe to read a well-written review for that new Kane and Lynch game you saw an advert for? Well, it seems like nowadays the only adverts I'm seeing are for video game sites and articles whose sole purpose is to serve even more ads. Like, do you ever notice after you've been browsing Nexus mods for the latest of Skyrim's skimpy armor sets? Or maybe you're just checking to see if someone made the Outer Worlds a good game yet. You then swipe over to your Google newsfeed and get barraged with headlines like Reddit user finds Amulet of Talos with OP enchantment, or Skyrim players are only just realising becoming the Dragonborn was foreshadowed from the start. What, you mean it wasn't just in the fucking announcement trailer? So what sickeningly shite sites like thegamer.com are doing is trawling fan communities for specific games on Reddit and writing whole articles based on random stories that some Reddit user has posted. But they're writing these articles for professional journalist websites. And I get it, Reddit has become the place to be, and views are dwindling because people don't see as much need in visiting these kinds of sites. But Jesus, have some basic level of integrity. What's more, you know this is incredibly lucrative. Their business model is getting clicks through highly targeted ads based on your search history. Once you've clicked, they've earned their money at the expense of your time. Case in point, I recently checked to see if there were any updates to the Age of Empires 3 Improvement mod, which can only be played on the classic version of the game. This mod is huge. It changes basically everything about the game for the better. But the main reason I'd play it over the so-called Definitive Edition is the improvements to AI, something which we should have fully expected from Microsoft when they re-released the entire series with nothing more than a slight graphical upgrade and some new empires to play as. Unfortunately, it seems the improvement mod is not getting any further updates, but that got me curious. Are there any mods being developed for the definitive edition of Age of Empires 3? A Google search immediately brought up a gamer.com article entitled The Best Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition Mods. Well, I'd seen a few shitty articles on there, but this should tell me exactly what I needed to know. Right? The article lists 20 mods, the majority of which are either completely dead or haven't been updated in years, which is funny because the definitive edition of AoE 3 came out at the end of 2020. That's right, despite the title, these mods are all for the classic edition of the game. Surely a mistake, you're probably thinking. Well, seeing as the article has been updated twice since its initial release, once in December of 2021, and again in January of 2022, I highly doubt the authors of this article didn't notice such a huge blunder. They knew there were no mods for Definitive Edition, but in their SEO and keyword research, they saw that around the same time people were searching for exactly what I just searched when I found the article. At least that's what I think. You can decide for yourselves. I'm definitely correct though. As I read through the article, something even worse became apparent. I've been interested in the recent progress of AI technology in both the art and writing worlds, and though I've never used them myself, I've watched YouTube videos and tutorials on how people generate ideas and even intros and outros for blog posts. Mostly these people would use this as a jumping off point to then create the bulk of the creative work themselves. Or so I'd like to think. Often it would be pretty obvious if you were to have generated a series of paragraphs based on games that were highly searchable at that time. You might ask an AI to generate something like
Magic the Gathering, 10 best cards for a dinosaur deck.
Or even if you were to ask an AI to write the first paragraph of an article on Age of Empires 3, you might get...
Since the launch of the first Age of Empires in October of 1997, the series has remained highly successful as it paved the way for the modern RTS genre. With the recent release of Age of Empires 3, Definitive Edition, fans of the classic Civ builder have seen more and more great content added to this classic game as the years went by.
Content. More great content. Like the content that they added to the definitive edition of Age of Empires 3. Not mods, because the AI didn't know to write about mods. It was just writing about Age of Empires 3. Again, you can all make up your own minds, but I am 100% correct. You see, I've always been pretty serious about this YouTube channel. I'd have loved for it to become a career, and so have spent an embarrassing amount of time researching SEO, click-through rate, viewer engagement from every YouTube guru you can think of. And let me tell you the one and only thing I've learned through my hours of research. It's all a load of shite. And what better proof do we have than this article? At the same time, I'm forever discovering new channels, not too dissimilar from my own, that have put out 5 fucking videos on YouTube and have thousands and thousands of views and subscribers. And hey, I'm not begrudging them of that. It's awesome. I'll watch your videos, I'll enjoy them, I'll subscribe, despite you having no tags and your description doesn't reference the title and all the other thousands of things that I wasted my life doing for years. I also know that there are channels way better than mine with less, obviously, but we can stand in solidarity knowing we are all at least better than the downright offensive gamer.com and their garbage, fake, scummy articles that still come up as the first result in a Google search. We all deserve more followers than the 2.9 million that follow them on Facebook. This is what happens when SEO, search engine optimization, is put higher than the quality of your work. When the author is so desperate to insert searchable keywords into their article that the sentences start to flow awkwardly and it's a chore to read, and the title of the article suggests something that is not even close to what the article says. This is the absolute pinnacle of creative bankruptcy, and yet whenever I look at my Google newsfeed or visit social media, these articles come up over and over again. So what if people don't even like these articles? I've clicked on them, and so have you, and that's all they care about. So the big corporations can look at their charts and say, look how many people saw our advert for cruise ships, or protein shakes, or fucking Viagra. I already have enough, thank you. Interested in modding your game you probably bought twice? Well, you better also be thinking about buying this other shit at the same time. Can you blame them though? Under capitalism, can you really blame a struggling website for shoving out as many bullshit articles as they can in order to maximise profit, to pay a few nerds a basic wage? No. Even though I'd never put out art that I'm not proud of myself, we always have to blame the ultimate enemy of art and creativity, the source of most of the shittiest things in this world, not limited to AI-generated articles about Age of Empires mods. Capitalism is to blame. But I guess at this point, you're probably just wondering, are there any mods for Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition? I haven't got a clue. You'll have to just Google it, I guess.